Okay. Hello. I'm doing yet another movie review, and this time I'm reviewing the sequel to The Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, also known as Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn. And here with me again is once again that young man who was in the last review, and this guy fell out of the sky, and now he's going to probably do the review with us, I guess.
Of course.
Yeah. So, Evil Dead 2. Basically, Evil Dead 2 came out in 1987. It once again is directed by Sam Raimi, who directed the first one, and it's written by Sam Raimi and Scott Spiegel, and it's once again starring Bruce Campbell, who is reprising his role as Ash. Now, the first one was a pretty serious horror film, but this one is more of a horror comedy.
Yes.
Now, this one, it's debatable whether you would call this a direct sequel or more of a remake of the first one, because...
Or a requel.
Yeah, like, there's not really a, there's not really any continuity with the first one, like, and I actually had kind of a theory behind that, but it's just my way of kind of connecting this to the first one. Basically, the first one ended where Ash destroyed the Book of the Dead, and then his friends who were possessed by demons, they died, and all of a sudden, at the very end of that movie, you saw a demon coming out of the woods, coming at him, and you assume at the end of that he was supposed to die or get possessed by a demon, but in this one, it begins where Ash and Linda are going to the cabin, and essentially it's like kind of a recap of the first one. Only,
yeah, minus the extra friends. It's just him and his girlfriend.
So my theory on that was maybe, because in the movie it establishes that, like, the Necronomicon is capable of, like, time travel and shit, so...
Well, at the end of this one, yeah.
Well, I kind of always assumed that, like, maybe at the end of Evil Dead, when that demon came for him, all of a sudden, like, time got reversed, and, like, and essentially it's like a, alternate universe kind of thing, or like,
yeah, it's a possibility, yeah.
You know, that's kind of like my way of connecting this with the first one, because besides, like, my theory, there's really no continuity with the first one in this one, but,
Well, I have a shot at, a theory there. I think they kind of did go out on a limb and just say, like, bigger budget, and really we're just going for, let's kind of just do the first one, but bigger and better, add on, put in what we wanted to do that we didn't have enough money for.
Yeah, because this one definitely has a much bigger budget than the first one, and you can tell.
Yeah.
Now, basically, you know, the plot is now Ash is at the cabin, and, you know, he summoned the demons, and his girlfriend Linda got possessed by demons. He had to kill her, and eventually what happens is the daughter of the professor who originally found the Book of the Dead, she comes to the cabin with a bunch of other characters, and essentially they become trapped there, and now Ash and these other characters have to stop the demons, and in the movie, Ash's hand gets possessed by a demon, and he eventually has to cut it off with a chainsaw, and eventually he actually replaces his hand with the chainsaw and uses that to fight demons and zombies and shit, and,
groovy.
You know, that's the basic plot line of it. Now, what was I gonna say? But yeah, Evil Dead 2 is a fucking awesome sequel.
I would agree.
I think we have to agree on that.
Yeah.
Like, the thing I like about it, though, is, you know, in a lot of ways, it does kind of stand on its own. Like, you can easily watch this without having...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you don't have to watch the original.
And it almost packs more of a punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, although the first one was a pretty serious horror film, it was actually kind of creepy in some parts, but...
Yeah, this one does have its creepy moments too, but
it's really more of
a comedy tone.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know what the word is for that style, but if you're not used to that style, it's gonna become more of a comedy for you, not really, you know, but, the first one, like you said, definitely, I think, is better for... I think someone who's not used to the genre should do it in order because it kind of eases them into it. This kind of overloads you with that style. The first one has a lot more stuff that an average audience member can relate to, and then get used to the kind of blood spurting out of the walls and Ash acting the way Ash does.
Right.
You know.
And one thing I want to point out is in the first one, Ash was really just some kid trying to survive. In this movie, he's pretty much a badass.
Yeah, he's the hero.
Like in this movie, he becomes kind of what I like to call Rambo Ash. Like he just gets his chainsaw and his shotgun and starts fighting demons and zombies. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
You know. And you mentioned this when we were watching it. You felt like Bruce Campbell's acting in this is a lot better than it was in the first.
The first one. It was a little
tricky.
Yeah. I thought if you look at an actor's way with line delivery, and physical acting, showing reactions to everything, I thought basically just one of those stereotypical bad actors. No offense to him.
No,
in the first
I didn't
one.
think he was that bad in the first one.
I didn't think it was that bad, but it was still.
I just think it's a issue of style, and I just think that's what I was getting at with my point was, just this movie in and of itself is. Again, I haven't come up with the word of the style, but it's definitely different than.
Yeah. Well, I guess
your Hollywood. It's different than Hollywood because.
Well, so is the first one in a lot of ways. So the first one was, very
a very serious horror movie.
Yeah, but not even just serious. It was a pretty,
It was the same way. It was the same way.
Yeah.
I think if you asked, I mean, I'm sure Hollywood actors have seen stuff like this. So, but it's not Leonardo DiCaprio. It's not really any. You don't really see Ash's style in, we just watched Hitchcock yesterday. What was that? Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins.
He doesn't act that way. It's definitely a different style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Evil Dead 2 is a pretty badass sequel. I would
totally
say.
recommend it if you have any.
Definitely.
If you have any chance of seeing it, the lighting's great. Of course, the smoke and
I don't know if you guys.
Very creepy at some points. Very funny.
Right. I don't know if you guys know, but every once in a while, I don't know which theater it is, but random theaters on the island will run it. They'll be.
For those of you who don't know, we all live on Long Island.
Yeah. So they'll run it showing it just and we did one where it was Evil Dead, the first one I think, and then a second horror film right after it. I forgot what it was, but definitely look for packages like that out there. Pretty good.
And also the special effects work in this movie was done by Greg Nicotero, who he's done stuff for The Walking Dead now, and
that makes sense.
He actually, I think he directed a few episodes of The Walking Dead.
I heard
that is interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I heard that somewhere that special effects guy did that.
Yeah.
Now,
directed some of the episodes.
Do you think that's as far as the relation to The Walking Dead goes, or do you think in the acting in Walking Dead, do you see any connections to Evil Dead? Perhaps.
I don't know. Walking Dead's a little more of the style of the acting in Walking Dead is a little more like how should I put it? Almost more mainstream than the style of acting you would see in the Evil Dead.
I will admit though.
I was thinking of Rick, though. I don't know why. I was thinking of Rick somehow. Of course, he's not Ash, but I'm just picturing scenes where maybe you could call it overacting, but it just for some reason some scenes reminded me of Ash. I don't know why.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, now that I think about it, the Walking Dead connection, the zombies kind of look a lot very similar to the demons in the movies as well, with the makeup and everything.
Well, because the demons are supposed to look like zombies,
Yeah.
The idea is that if you get possessed by a demon, you become a zombie in the Evil Dead movies.
Okay.
Kind of like demonic zombies. One thing I do want to point out is in the movie they call the Book of the Dead the Necronomicon, which is actually a reference to H.P. Lovecraft because the Necronomicon is a book from H.P. Lovecraft's stories.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about H.P. Lovecraft, but
you should read him.
Okay. That's cool.
So yeah, that's it. That's
pretty much Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, that's our review on Evil Dead 2.
Check it out when you can.
And see you all at a later time. Probably actually when we'll be reviewing this film.
Which will probably be very shortly.
Okay. Catch you later.
Catch you later.